Hey guys, Jeeps here, and today we're going to take a look at some Tribes Ascend. So, Tribes Ascend is a free-to-play, very skill-based first-person shooter that is currently in open beta. It is set to be released actually just over a week from the making of this video, which is going to be April 12th. So the full release is April 12th, but the game is already pretty fully functional, and it is fantastically fun. Now, I'm planning on doing a series of videos on Tribes where I partner up with some of the people I play with who are actually good at this game, because frankly, I'm not. And maybe dual commentate with them on the different classes and different roles, and how they perform, where to use which, mostly in the context of Capture the Flag, which is, for me at least, that's kind of the main focus of the game. There is also a team deathmatch mode and an arena mode, but Tribes has always kind of been about Capture the Flag. So, first, though, I want to give just a basic rundown of what the game is. So, first, let's just go into Modify Classes so I can show you all the different classes. The game has 9 different classes, 3 different weight categories. So your light classes are your Pathfinder, your Sentinel, and your Infiltrator. You've got medium classes, which are the Soldier, Technician, and the Raider. And then your heavy classes, which are your Juggernaut, your Doombringer, and your Brute. So, as you might guess, light classes can take the least damage, heavy classes can take the most, medium classes, they're right in the middle. That's just always how it works. Nothing new there. However, the weight also matters because a big part of Tribes is the fact that everyone has a jetpack. And if you're heavier, it's going to take a lot more energy to move you vertically with that jetpack, because you weigh 3 times more as a Brute than you do as a Pathfinder. That's an arbitrary number, but you get the idea. As a result, you can also go very, very quickly downwards as a heavy class, which brings us to the second main mechanic of Tribes, which is skiing. So, what is skiing, you might ask? Well, let me show you real quick. Alright, so, skiing. So let me just hold down space real quick. Space is the default ski button. You notice the bars come up, my little speedometer on the side, and I just start sliding down this hill freely. And I hit the bottom, and I pretty much just kind of go where gravity takes me. I'm just ignoring all friction, but I'm at the mercy of gravity. So that doesn't seem very useful on its own. I mean, you can go fast in kind of any direction. But how's that helpful? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we also have a jetpack. It works like you think it would. I've got, see under my health in the bottom left there, I have a meter with a little lightning bolt next to it, has 150. I right-click, again, it's the default key, you can change it. I fly! And energy goes down. I can, release it and try and make it last as long as I can. So yeah, it's a jetpack. Does exactly what it says on the tin. So now what happens if I combine, I guess, basic skiing, just sliding downhill, and my jetpack? Alright, so we're back on top of a little hill. We got a nice hill in front of us. The same one from earlier, probably. So we hold down space, start our sliding. Now, when we get to the bottom, right before we hit the hill, kick in the jetpack, and we soar over the hill. Hit again, we keep going back down. Hill, back down. And that speed can just kind of keep going up. Again, there are people who can do this a lot faster than I can, but you get the idea. This mechanic, this extreme speed, this is what this game is about. So now that you know what skiing is, I can give you a bit of a better idea of what all the classes, they're kind of basic roles. So first you got your Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is predominantly your flag capturing class. They can go incredibly fast through a mix of their thrust pack, which lets them drain energy for a speed boost. The fact that they're a light class, which means their jetpack doesn't need much energy to move them around, and they can just get up to high speeds, and their various explosive weapons and grenades and stuff, which you can use to give yourself a push in the right direction. Yeah, you'll take some damage, but a skilled Pathfinder, which I am not, I am awful at this class, is easily getting up to 200 to 300 kilometers an hour, and they plan out a very specific route, which lets them get to the enemy flag and back at the highest speed possible. Next, you've got your Sentinel. This one's a little more self-explanatory. That looks like a sniper rifle because it's a sniper rifle. They're snipers. Which, in a weird way, seems almost a little out of place in a game based around speed like Tribes are, but snipers are snipers. They're still useful. They also have a handy piece of a kit they can drop on the ground called a drop jammer. This makes it so anyone on their team within range of the jammer can't be picked up by enemy radar, which pretty much means there won't be any HUD markers marking them out on your screen. You'll have to just see them. No little red or blue or whatever marker pointing at them. This is a very, very useful piece of kit, because if a sniper, since you're not moving much, unlike most of the other characters in Tribes, you really don't want to be seen very easily. Next, you got your Infiltrator. Again, it's another one that kind of does what it says on the tin. They have a cloaking pack. They're kind of like an even more fragile Pathfinder. They don't have the speed boost, they have similar kit, but they can turn invisible. This makes them very good at going and harassing enemy bases. However, going back to the Sentinel, drop jammers will actually reveal their invisibility, as will several other pieces of kit. So it's not as overpowered as it sounds. Oh my, oh my god, he can go invisible. Whatever will we do? And again, it drains your energy pretty quickly, so you can't jetpack around much while being invisible. It will run out, and you are very squishy as an infiltrator. Next, the Soldier. The Soldier is your bread and butter. It can kind of do a lot of things okay. It can be basically equipped with an assault rifle, again, you know what that is, and the Spin Fuser. The Spin Fuser is kind of the signature Tribes weapon. It's a disc launcher. It shoots an exploding disc that travels in a straight line and explodes. It does a ton of damage on a direct hit and has a little bit of splash. A lot of weapons in Tribes are based around the Spin Fuser. The Infiltrator has one, Pathfinder can get one, Brute has a big one. They're all over the place, and they're great. There's not a whole lot unique about the Soldier. It does have some pretty big grenades. It does have access to a hit scan pistol. For those of you who don't know what hit scan is in first-person shooter, it's a weapon that doesn't have projectiles modeled out. Say your crosshair is over an enemy when you pull the trigger or click your mouse button or however you're controlling it. As long as the crosshair is still over them, they will be hit. There is no projectile modeled out. Like the Spin Fuser, the disc has to physically reach the target. And you can see it moving, and you can get out of the way of it. Maybe. But that makes any hit scan weapons in this game can be fairly useful, because you got someone down really low health, it can still be hard to hit them with a weapon where the projectile is a physical object. You might be able to squeeze off one shot with their Eagle pistol, though, and finish someone off. Next, you got the Technician. They're your engineer class. They can repair your base turrets, your generator, all your assets, and they can also place down their own little turrets. They are generally used in defense. They can have an SMG or kind of a grenade launcher type thing, and they come with a better version of a repair tool, which is a weapon anyone can switch out for on the map, which lets you, as you'd guess, repair your generator or any other base assets. They're very handy. They're not the most offensive class. They are great on defense, though, and really, really useful. Then you got the Raider. I love the Raider. Raider is a straight-up offensive medium class. They have two different variations on a basic grenade launcher, the first being a grenade launcher. Again, that's what he says, the grenades will explode on impact with an enemy or just kind of bounce freely. They have a pretty big radius, so the damage isn't as high as a lot of other exploding weapons. Or the Arcs Buster, which is what you can see him equipped with right here. It's a sticky grenade launcher. More damage, less radius, smaller clip, really good. Their really, really good feature about them are their kit options are a shield pack, which lets them take some damage they take on their energy. However, I don't find it to be that useful. Other people might. Or a jammer pack. The jammer pack is just like the Sentinel's drop jammer, except built into the class. You put it on, slowly drains your energy. You can't be targeted by turrets and stuff like that. You reveal cloaked infiltrators. And it does affect allies near you. You won't show up on radar. It is fantastic. They're really, really fun, very, very offensive class. Best used indoors. Now onto the heavies. We got the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut is artillery. They carry around a portable mortar, which, surprisingly, is also really, really good on defense. Indoors, these things are horrifying, because the blasts are so dangerous, and indoors, you can't escape them very well. So these things are very, very scary on indoor defense, or even on indoor assault. While they're a bit slow, because they're heavy classes, you don't want to be stuck in a hallway with one. But, because it is a mortar, you can also just lob shots way down range. They're great for bombarding enemy flag stands and just disrupting enemy defense from a distance. However, doing this probably means you're kind of stationary, which, again, opens you up from attack. Next, you've got the Doombringer. This is, in my opinion, an almost purely defensive class. It's actually one of my favorite classes to play. They have a minigun. It's great fun. It's really scarily accurate. It's fully projectile modeled, not hit scan. And they will sit back at base, and they will just gun down people coming in. They also have a thing called the Saber Launcher, which is a missile launcher which is not very useful for the most part. It has to lock on before it can fire, and it can only lock on to players who have been in the air for, it's either 3 or 5 seconds, I don't remember which. Anything can easily block its line of targeting, however, which means it's very hard to get a lock on a player. However, if it does get a lock, it is pretty good at hitting them eventually. They have to shoot down that missile or we'll probably get to them. Unless they can, get behind a hill, they might be able to break the missile on it. But its best use is it does lock on to vehicles no matter where they are. So they are pretty good at taking down someone on a bike or a tank or a Shrike, which is a plane. So they're a great class. They're one of my favorites. And that moves on to the last class, the Brute, which I'll admit I don't have much experience with, and the general consensus I've heard with them is they're probably a little underpowered at the moment. From what I can tell, from the little I have played them, they're kind of like a heavy class version of the Soldier. They have a bigger spin fuser, and they can either have a shotgun or a light machine gun for secondary. They do have an incredible grenade called the Fractal Grenade, which just shoots lasers off in all directions around it. It will clear things out in confined spaces really quickly, but that role can be done by so many other things, which just have so much more utility than the Brute. So I would be expecting Hi-Rez is going to do something with them in the near future. I don't know what. Right now, they're a little lackluster, which is sad, because especially with Diamond Sword, the faction I prefer playing, just aesthetically, they look so cool. But yeah, so that's an incredibly basic rundown of the classes and tribes. So before we roll this off, I figure I should probably show you some actual gameplay. So let's go find a match. We'll jump in. I'll play one light, one medium, and one heavy throughout, just so you can get a look at all the classes. Or all the class roles, sorry. And then we'll wrap this up. So let's go find a game. Alright, so here we are. We're in a game. We picked Diamond Sword, because that's what we do. And we're going to start off with the Infiltrator, which is a light class. It does what it says on the tin. It infiltrates, it cloaks, it's great. Let's go harass some enemy positions. If you want to see my loadout, using a stealth spin fuser, throwing knives, sticky grenades, stealthy and survivalist for my perks, and basic skin, and the stealth pack, because that's their only option anyway, and why would you want anything else? Even if they did have another option, unless it was really good. Okay, there are 2 infiltrators already, so we won't stick around on the infiltrator too long. Lots of infiltrators, not always a good move. So let's go.
Know yourself, and victory will follow.
So, this map is nice because there's a nice straight shot to the enemy gen room. One thing infiltrators are very good with is harassing enemy generators. That's kind of their job, in fact. They're not as good as raiders, in my opinion, for just general disruption, but, and I overshoot a little bit, but they are still quite good at it. They do have another weapon option, which I don't currently have unlocked, and I'm gonna get killed. Oops! So, speaking of raiders, there was one waiting for me there. Let's try that again. I should have gone around the other way while they were distracted with the... it was a Juggernaut that came in with us. So I should have gone the other way. That was dumb, because I could have come up behind that raider. And it looks like their gen is operational, so if we wanted to, we could instead go after some other assets, such as the radar, or... I mean, taking out the radar is a big reason to take out the generator in the first place. So, let's go around this way this time. A lot of times I've noticed on this map, people don't tend to expect you to come around this side to attack the generator. So it's down there. So we'll just pop down here real quick. Their gen is up and I'm about to run out of energy. So I'll duck around this corner. Turn our cloak off, let our energy come back up.
Generator has been destroyed.
And someone already took down the generator for us. Someone beat us to the punch. But now we can have some real fun with these technicians. One down. Except this one's probably going to kill us. But still. Your job is to do harassment. Again, I'm not very good at playing an infiltrator. It's just the one I like the most of the light classes. So now, let's switch to a medium. So go to class select. Let's just go ahead and just do soldier. Soldier's pretty much the most basic class in the game. And as a result, you can kind of do a little bit of everything. We're just going to go play midfield kind of harassment. Or, let's see, is there anyone up in that tower? A lot of times snipers and juggernauts like to hide up in the tower up there. Doesn't look like it, though, so here we're just using a regular spin fuser. Sorry, I didn't show you my loadout. I've got spin fuser, and this is the Eagle pistol. It's the hit scan pistol I was talking about earlier. And then I've got the energy pack, which just gives you more energy straight up. Let's go harass this engineer up here while he tries to make some repairs. It's always fun to harass engineers. Oh, that is not an engineer. That is a raider repairing things. Raider's using the Arcs Buster there. That's a sticky grenade launcher. The Infiltrator also has a similar weapon. Oh, and I got the kill credit for him. That's nice. And there's a tank. I don't want to be near that tank. It's probably about to kill me. I should be getting out of here. I'm probably screwed. Yeah, I'm screwed. But yeah, that's a soldier. I'll be honest, I don't generally know what to do with the soldier. Because they have such an open-ended role, I don't know, I'm better with a little bit of direction. So, on that note, let's jump to a heavy class. The class I actually play the most and vaguely know what I'm doing with, the Doombringer. Where you play a little something called Heavy on Flag, or at least that's what I do. Admittedly, our flag is current. Oh, never mind, it's been returned. Good. Here's what you do as a Doombringer. I have the Super Heavy perk, all the way maxed out. What you do is you place these force fields around. People run through those quickly, they take damage. You throw some landmines down. And then you sit your fat ass on the flag. And what just happened right there, that kill that just happened for no reason? Someone, well, okay, I'm dead from sticky grenades, but someone ran into me. Some Pathfinder just going flat out. And the way Super Heavy works is if you've got it at rank 3, which I do, if someone runs into you, they take damage proportional to how fast they're going. And usually Pathfinders are going really fast. So they usually just die immediately from running into you. It never gets old, really. It's one of the most satisfying things in the game. There it happened again! Or that might have been a mine, I don't know. Sometimes when you're playing Heavy on Flag, it's hard to tell what you're doing that's killing people. But, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I've given you a beef preview of this game's like. Like you can see, I'm really bad at this game. My aim is awful. The chain gun is a ludicrously good weapon, and I hit that guy once, and then got killed by a raider who died. But I'm gonna wrap this up. Just giving you a brief idea of what this game is. It's a fantastic game. I urge everyone to check it out. Like I said, it is completely free. There is no reason not to check it out. If you're in the market for something fast, for something very skill-based, for a break from the Call of Duties and Battlefields, this might be the ticket for you. It's in open beta, it comes out officially on the 12th, and either way it's free, so really you might as well. So if you're interested, I've got my referral link down in the description. Give it a click and go check it out. I'm AtNashadow, and here I will friend and play with anyone who's up for it. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Jeeps, and I will talk to you later.